All right, welcome to that Synth Show, episode 24. Moog is moving to China. I'm going to tell you how I know this, and I'm also going to tell you why it's a good thing, because I lived in Asia for 11 years. So I'm going to give you a little scoop on the Asians, especially the Chinese. So let's go with that Synth Show. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Another night in the studio, another episode of that Synth Show. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be talking about Moog. Moog is moving to China. If you haven't realized already, they're going to China. Now, how do we know they're going to China? We know it on a few things. We know it on news from the past. We know it on the global economic situation. And let's be honest, we know it because common sense. Because people who watch that Synth Show have massive amounts of common sense and are super smart. So, this beautiful mini Moog will be made in China. How do we know this? Because China, things are cheaper. It's cheaper to make stuff in China. And let's be honest, everything that's made in America is almost 100% made from things that are made in China. So when you think you're buying a made in America product, you're buying a made in America assembled product. You're not really buying a made in America product. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a few things that are made in America, a couple things, and they're always high quality and they're always good. But guess what? A lot of those things are made with Chinese products, textiles, chemicals, plastics, even metals and steels are made in China and imported in. So when you get a made in America thing, don't be fooled. Don't fool yourself. Don't fall into that propaganda that, oh yeah, made in America. Because guess what? I'd love for everything to be made in America. I would buy everything if it was made in America. But I'm not under the impression that things aren't made overseas and imported in and put together here, all right? So I lived in China for 11 years, I lived in Asia for 11 years, Korea for 11 years, and I traveled all over the place. I've been everywhere over there, all right? I went over there, I worked in factories teaching English to people working at Samsung, LG, all these different kinds of companies. I got in there, I got to tour these factories, I got to watch them work, I got to talk to them personally, I got to spend time with their families, I got to go out and have some soju with them, which is basically Korean vodka. And I went to China, I went to Shanghai, went to Beijing, I went to all kinds of places over there. And guess what? What you've been told about China is almost 90% a load of, for you British people, bollocks. It's a load of baloney. A lot of it's true, but a lot of it's not. So you think that everything you hear that's negative is everything there. It's not, man. These Chinese people, and I'm talking specifically Chinese now because this is where Moog is going. These Chinese people are super highly intelligent. They're highly motivated. They're absolutely insanely efficient when it comes to production. And they work their you-know-what off. And they follow the rules. So when they say work, you work. Is there slave labor? Of course. But guess what? There's slave labor here. Okay? America's one of the number one places on the planet for a lot of shady things. Let's just put it that way. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a movie that just came out called The Sound of Freedom. Go watch it. You'll figure out what's going on. So don't get it twisted. Everywhere's got their problems, but China is epic. And guess what? They make amazing stuff. And technologically wise and futuristic wise, they're light years ahead of America right now. So and I'm going to show you some videos in a minute. You can check it out about how insane China is, because I've been there. I've seen it. And I'm going to show you. So, but before we get to that, how I got tipped off to this Chinese thing is there's articles out in the past that kind of, you just read the tea leaves. You got the unionized workers who wanted to make a union at Moog, company owned. They're not company owned anymore. So who's going to really be fighting to keep it here? Were all the products that they were putting in their synthesizers made in America? No, they weren't. I'm sorry, they just weren't. A lot of them might have been, but they just all weren't. So let's check this video out real quick. This is a guy called Synth Punk. Okay, and I like his channel. It's cool. He's got interesting stuff. He's got lots of synthesizers and things, and he's a synth punk, so he kind of punks people. It's cool. I dig him. I'd love to do a show with him. Just check it out. But anyways, this is where I got tipped off from it. This is one of the tips that let us know that Moog is going to China.
We don't even have any cases here in the factory. Oh boy.
And the only thing I want to tell you,
This is
one of the
Gustavo, I
stories
guess his
that
buddy.
came out of this whole, after pressure
He bought a
issue
mini
was
Moog.
I emailed Moog and I told them, this has been a really inconvenient thing to have to send it back. And I played the mini Moog probably daily, if I'm not exaggerating. I asked them basically if they could give me a discount on the hard case because I didn't want to ship the mini Moog back to my house without.
All right, so what, if you don't know, the mini Moogs had problems. They were having, I think it was aftertouch problems. Anyway, something was going on with a percentage of them. They weren't working properly. So this cat, Gustavo or Gustav, sent it back, asked for a case.
Properly being in a hard shell case. And so I asked for a discount. Those cases are like $750, probably more.
900 by the
I
looks of it.
figured that because it's Moog and it's a company that apparently, especially now that has new ownership, I'm sure they have a lot of resources that they could spare. I mean, a case, it's probably really cheap to make for them because it's made in Asia or something, and they could have given me a discount on the case. Now, I'm not someone who expects things for free. I'm an immigrant. I come from a third world country. And
I'm an immigrant too.
everything
I'm
I
Canadian,
have,
living
I
in
had
America.
to work really hard for. So I'm not someone who's entitled and expects people to give me free stuff. But
Yeah, all right, Gustav,
when
get
you
on with
pay,
it.
it's what you expect. But and the gentleman answering the email was really kind, and I'm sure it's nothing to do with him, but his bosses or the higher ups in the company, he said that they didn't have the cases anymore at the Moog factory. And
All right, you hear that? They didn't have the cases anymore at the... He said Moog. It's Moog, I've heard. So, Moog. They didn't have cases at the factory anymore. Why don't they have cases at the factory if they've told everybody that they're going to be keeping production in America? So that's a tip. That's a tip. That's an easy tell. And if you can read the tea leaves, they're stopping production, okay? They're stopping it. Because why? At least they're making the cases overseas, and maybe they already made them overseas, but they're not doing it here no more. All right, so let's get that off the table right there. So check out Synth Punk's channel. I'll throw it down the link. He's got interesting content, kind of does some funny stuff. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I think it's cool. So moving to China, we know that we got the production out. We can move over here right now into right here. All right. Moog says Chinese tariffs may force a move overseas. So this was all in the making. If you're following along, this is from 2018, all right before the great coup came and did this wild thing. So they were moving it overseas. Why? Chinese tariffs. There was a bit of a trade war going on, and that's when production really ramped up. The Moog grandmother jumped up 60%, 2022 or something, or 2020. So like they were done, and they were trying to unionize. So it's just not affordable to make products in a country that has just printed money, like it's going out of style, and it's inflated everything. So you just can't do it. And you don't have any factories here anymore. Let's be honest. You don't make anything in America besides what? Big Macs and milkshakes. All right? And I'd love for stuff to be made in America because I love America. Big time love America. All right? So this is a tea leaf, So we know. Now, let me get to the point where I'm trying to say why it's a good thing that it's moving to China. And that's for these reasons right here. China is one of those advanced countries in the world. Why is it so advanced? Because America and Europe and Canada and the West has somehow been convinced to send all their factories to China, send money to China, and give away intellectual property for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into it, but you can figure it out. And they were able to, while our countries get dilapidated, the roads break, the train stations, or you see trains going off the rails all the time. Okay, that's what happens over here while China's doing stuff like this.
China's cyberpunk-like futuristic cities are already here.
This is reportedly
Megacities that are set to shake up the future. Architectural melting pot of Western and Eastern designs.
Look at this stuff. This is old though, right? So this is high-tech old stuff. And then we're going to get into this. And the cool thing about China, it's juxtaposed with traditional and absolutely cyberpunk futuristic. So if you like synthesizers and you like cyberpunk and that wild graphics you see and everything, go to China. It'll blow your mind.
That appear both familiar and outworldly all at once.
Look at this. Cool soundtrack. So this is just some of the stuff. Let's skip through because I don't want to make this video too long, but look at this. Oh, this guy? All right, let's move on. So let's talk about trains. These trains in America, look at this
the
thing.
TEB went through a road test in North China's Hebei province on Tuesday.
Trains that can
the
go on the
passenger
road.
compartment rises far above other vehicles
Cars
on the
go
road,
under it.
allowing cars to pass underneath. The test in Xinhuangdao City evaluated the braking system, drag and power consumption, according to TEB.
All right, we're not going to get into it, but look at that, okay? So that's what they're making there. It's epically futuristic. You got a train that can go on regular roads. Cars can go under it. All right, so that's just one example. Let's jump over here. Look at this. China's super rich megacity, Guangzhou.
Guangzhou. What you're about to see is one of the most amazing cities.
This
on
looks
Earth.
like CGI, but it's not.
Guangzhou, a busy, energetic, and exciting megacity in China, north of Hong Kong, Macau, and the South China.
Look at this.
This is one megacity, China's third most populated metropolis, with over 19 million people.
These people are living large in China, okay? This stuff is insane. Look at this. Look at this, okay? So,
At night, you can't mistaken.
don't get upset about Moog moving to China, because Moog moving to China is not as bad as what you think, because the workers in these factories, look at this stuff here. That's a hologram in the mall. All right, so you go to American City, go to Boston, go to New York, go to LA. You're not seeing tons of stuff. Maybe in Vegas, you'll see a little bit of, you know, like, let's be honest, kindergarten futuristic, but this stuff is off the charts. Then we look at the workers. You wonder why stuff's getting made fast in China? Look at this. Everyone talks about the slave labor and all that stuff, but guess what? It's not all slave labor. I was over there. These people take pride in their work. Watch this. This lady's like, I got to count money? I'm going to count money. The fastest person in the world counting money. Boom. Try to count money like that. I'd love to count money like that and stack it and get a few synthesizers. Look at this stuff. Come on. We're talking about using AI over here in America in our factories and robots. These people are just said, you know what? If I'm going to put together those little buckles or whatever they are and rings, I'm going to be the best at it. This is how Asians think. It's all competitive. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best. Because if I'm not the best, someone else is going to be the best. This is Asian style. It's not all this slave labor garbage you always hear. I'm not saying there ain't any, but guess what? It's not all that. Look at this. Woo, woo. Shawow, shawow. Look at that stuff. That's high skill. All right, you get the point. Super crazy workers. And look at this one. 1,500 Chinese workers build a train station in 9 hours. That's one shift. You know what I did in a 9-hour shift today? Not that. Did my company put together a train station 9 hours today? Nope. Time lapse. Boom. Done. So, you get the point. You get the point. Chinese is not so bad as what you think, all right? It's not as bad as what you think. So, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. I just want to show you real quick because I know there's a lot of weird Asian propaganda. I've lived there for 11 years. I taught English there. If any of you buddy in the comments are getting bored of your life and you want to switch it up, I can get you over to Asia. probably in a week or two. I can get you $3,000 a month. I can get you everything paid for, housing. I can get you flights there and back, all paid for. Phone probably paid for. And $3,000 in your pocket every single month, and it's dirt cheap to live there. And if you want to do it, you can do it. And all you need is a degree. If you don't got a degree, too bad. But if you got a university degree, you never taught before, I can get you over there, no problem. Ask me in the comments, I'll hit you up. Just want to let you know, Moog moving to China, it's not a bad thing. It was inevitable. If you were paying attention, we all knew it was going to happen. It's sad, but it's also something that's going to bring us products made by people who take pride in their work, just like Americans do, just like Europeans do, just like South Americans do. People take pride in their work, all right? And we're going to get quality products that are going to have the same components that were used in the products here, okay? But I guess it's kind of weird that there's no synthesizers from China. You know, they're not the most creative people, don't get me wrong. They're beautiful artists, but they're a lot better at building, efficiency, production. They got it mastered, all right? So that's that. Thank you for joining me. Something a little different tonight, but I just wanted to give you, an idea. So thanks for watching That Synth Show. We'll be back again with some more news. That Synth Show.